نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم انفروا خفافا وثقالا وجاهدوا بأموالكم وأنفسكم في سبيل الله ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن العظيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين واستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب يسر ولا تعسر وتمم بالخير وبك نستعين يا فتاح يا فتاح يا فتاح صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم الأمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, it's a great blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has given me and you the ability and tawfiq to participate in this gathering, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering a source of guidance for all of us. Ameen. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this gathering one of the means of our entry into Jannah. Inshallah, tonight's session will be a very short session. In this tonight's session, I want to share with you verse number 41 of Surah At-Tawbah. Verse number 41 of Surah At-Tawbah. And actually this verse is a call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all the Muslims who are heading out of the battle who are heading out in the battle of Tabuk. Now the battle of Tabuk, it took place after the conquest of Makkah. The Makkah is already conquered. Islam had become a dominant force in Arabia, and now there was a threat of attack from the Roman Empire. So you understand the situation. Makkah is conquered, Islam has become a dominant force in Arabia, and now there is a threat of attack from the Roman, not from Arabia, not from anywhere in Arabia, from a Roman Empire. So Prophet ﷺ, he's basically, he's issuing, you can call a military draft of all the Muslims. So he's issuing a military draft of all the Muslims, and he is telling all the Muslims that you should be ready in the best way possible, because the Roman army is going to be more probably, Roman army is going to be 100 times or at least 1,000 times more stronger than the Muslim army. So the Muslims should be prepared in the best way possible. All the resources that we have, we should use all of these resources and put them into defending Islam and marching forward and somehow fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now in that kind of situation, and you should remember now, after the conquest of Makkah, there are lots of people who are coming into the fold of Islam and they are new Muslims. So at this point, a lot of Muslims, they are feeling that, am I brave enough to go and fight in the battle of Tabuk? Will I be good enough? Because I don't have any experience. So I've never been in a battlefield. So will I be an asset on the battlefield? So should I go and fight and participate? And on that occasion, on that particular occasion, this ayat came down. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us universal words. And these words are not only beneficial for that particular context, these words are beneficial for all those people who want to serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who want to protect the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who want to do anything for a good cause, who want to do anything for a good cause under the shade of Islam. Allah gave us these words to encourage us. What are these words? Infiru khifafan wa thiqala. March forward whether you are heavy or light. Infiru khifafa wa thiqala. Come out and march forward whether you are heavy or light. Whether you think that you have a lot of money or you think you don't have a lot of money. Whether you think that you're very knowledgeable, you think you're not that knowledgeable. Whether you think that you have really heavy assets to offer, you have no assets to offer. Whether you think that you have a lot of talent or whether you think that you don't have any talents. Whether you think you are brave or strong enough to go and participate in that battle, or you think you're not that brave enough or you're not that strong to go and participate in that. Whoever you are, everyone should go out and they should march. Because every single one of you have something to offer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So go ahead, march forward for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is another place in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Qul. And you, mashallah brothers, already know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Qul in the Quran, He's addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And he's telling Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to tell something important to the ummah. So Allah said, قُلْ كُلٌّ يَعْمَلُ عَلَى شَاكِلَتِهِ. He said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell your followers, tell the Muslim ummah, يَعْمَلُ عَلَى شَاكِلَتِهِ. Every single person, now there is no distinction here, kul, every single person needs to work according to his or her own predispositions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us, and He has created us with certain abilities, with certain powers, with certain potentials, with certain talents. Now it's our responsibility to put those abilities to work for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in any way possible. In any way possible. We have to do, the only thing that we have to do our own assessment. Every single Muslim. We have to do our own assessment, because somehow in Islam, even though we are Muslims, but we have become very selfish in our approach, in our attitude. If you look into Islam, if you look into Quran, our Islam is not only about my spirituality. It's not only about my own concern, my prayers, me staying away from forbidden things, me following the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's the end of it. So if you're just taking care of yourself, that's fine. You will get to Jannah. This is not how Islam is. Islam tells us to take care of yourself, and after you take care of yourself, you do something more. You do something more. And that's something that you are doing more. And now I'm addressing all the brothers, mashallah, who sits here. I'm addressing all the brothers who come to the mosque, alhamdulillah, who pray 5 times a day in the mosque. And they are willing to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are willing to submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For them, this is a very important point. And it is somehow relevant to what we discussed in our Jummah today, about the month of Ramadan, what Allah says about the month of Ramadan. So inshallah, I will link both of them together. Islam is about taking care of yourself and doing something more. Something that can serve a cause that is beyond your need. That is beyond your need. And you are doing this something so that you can build your Jannah. You are not doing this something for fame or for name. You are doing that something extra, that something more. Why? Because you want to build something for yourself in Jannah. By helping other people, by spreading Islam, by spreading charity, by giving a good advice, by being good to other people, by sharing the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with other people, by being a cause or a reason to make this world a better place. This is what Muslim is supposed to do. He needs to make sure that he is doing something which is making this world a better place than it was before. My dear brothers, humbly, whatever I want to state is something that we all are going through, and we all are guilty of this. Especially us people, mashallah, who come to the mosque, who wear religious garments, who have beards, who want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who want to do something for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We people have become only concerned about our own selves. Only concerned about our own selves. But even if you look into the Quran, my wife, it's a funny story, interesting story, but a funny story. We had a concluding ceremony today for our girls today, not for the boys, just for the girls. Boys are very mischievous, so we do it on the end, at the last day. Today was not the last day, but it was the last weekend, so the girls did their concluding ceremony. And before my wife left, she requested me if I can write a few lines for her, so that she can share those lines with the parents. And she can encourage them to take care of the kids. Yes, we as teachers, we are doing whatever we can, but we need the support of the mothers, of the families, right? So I wrote her something. It was not a big thing, it was a small page, but I wrote her something. She picked and chose things, and she only decided to talk about things that she thought was sufficient. But for me, it was not sufficient. And I said to her after the ceremony, there is nothing against her, but this is what I'm trying to tell you, that we always look for conveniency. Always. Even in the ibadat, when it comes to ibadat, we think what is most convenient for us, what is most suitable for us, that's what we are going to do. We don't want to go extra mile. We don't want to make any extra effort. I'm not only talking about the month of Ramadan, even in our daily life. Even in our daily life. So as long as we are doing our stuff, we are happy and fine. We don't want to do extra. We don't want to do anything, something. We don't want to do something for other people. Anyways, She went there, she did whatever she wanted to do, she came back, and I said this thing to her. And she actually took it very seriously. And I said to her that in the entire year, you only get one opportunity to speak to the mothers. You only get one opportunity. Throughout the year, mothers come and they talk about their own stuff. They talk about their own kids, their own stuff. But this is an opportunity where all mothers come together and they sit and they listen to you. And they take you seriously. Why didn't you use that opportunity to share something really beneficial with them? Why didn't you take that opportunity? And this is not only my wife and not only myself. You brothers, mashallah, have been attending Jummah prayers here, I don't know for how many years. Every Jummah, I try to put myself in a position where I can feel the pressure and I can prepare a new topic. And let me be honest with all of you. For last 7-8 weeks, I was busy with my car test. I didn't pass my car. I failed my first test, and then I was constantly busy with my car test. Alhamdulillah, I passed last time, but I was busy for like 7-8 weeks. In those 7-8, no one knew because I was sneaky enough to do it. In those 7-8 weeks, I took my old notes. I didn't prepare any topic. I took my old notes and shared the same information with them that I shared with them probably 2-3 years ago. Probably you don't remember all those topics, but I felt guilty. And I don't know if you were here today in Jummah or not, but I can say for Hafisa that today if you were here in Iqra and you listen to my lecture, you will find something different today. There was more information in the lecture, I made more effort in the lecture, and I only spoke about a verse of the Quran, and for that verse of the Quran I had to prepare myself a lot. And I had to do it. And I put myself in that situation. Even me, when it comes to other things, I give them 100%. But when it comes to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes even I get relaxed. And I'm looking for loopholes. And I'm looking for shortcuts. In the month of Ramadan, now I'm linking this inshallah and then I will finish. Last thing. In the month of Ramadan, Allah says that Ramadan is a month unzila fihi al-Quran. Quran came down. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned 3 things about the Quran. The first thing He mentioned is Hudan lin-nas. That it is a source of guidance for the mankind. My request to all of you brothers, and the same thing we are doing today in our Tafseer session tonight. My request to all of you brothers, kindly in this month of Ramadan, just don't think about your own fasting. Just don't only think about your own nightly prayers, your own nawafil, your own ibadat, your own zikr. Think about the rest of the people as well. Let us think about our own neighborhoods here, who live in our neighborhood. Let's think about all of the people. You, mashallah, have non-Muslim co-workers. You probably have non-Muslim colleagues, non-Muslim friends. Think about them. Think about what is the best way for me to share my Islam with them. You don't have to tell them Quran or Hadith or this kind of stuff. So don't you think that I have to be an alim to share Islam with them. Anything that you know. Even in terms of your actions, what are the things that you can do in your daily life, in your daily routine, that will help other people to understand Islam? But think about it, because this is the call of Allah. Infiru khifafa wa siqala. You probably think that you don't know anything about Islam. You're not an alim, you're not a scholar, you're not a hafiz, you're not a qari. You probably don't know anything about Islam. But Allah says, figure out what you have. You have some potential. You have something in you. You need to figure it out and then march forward. March forward for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And ask Allah and Allah will give you inshallah. You don't have to be an alim to serve the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't have to be a scholar to serve the deen of Allah. You can be a businessman and you can serve the deen of Allah. Under the shade of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there will be those businessmen who remain truthful, who remain trustworthy, who remain honest. Even in today's age and time, they are honest and they are truthful. And they are trustworthy. They will be under the shade of the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you are a doctor, you are an engineer, even if you are a lawyer, even if you are a student, be the best in your class. You brothers know, the people who are fond of cricket, you probably know about Hashim Amla.
Yeah.
You know about him. You probably know about Muhammad Ali, the boxer. Everyone knows about Muhammad Ali, boxer at least. You all know. Don't you think they were the ambassadors of Islam? The way they impacted and the way they spread Islam, a person like me who probably is a scholar, who knows more hadith than Muhammad Ali. I probably know more verses of the Quran than Muhammad. But the way they spread Islam, I couldn't do. And I will never be able to do.
Yeah.
I will never be able to do. So it's just a matter of assessing yourself and seeing what Allah has given you. And then put it to work for the sake of Allah. And Allah will use you inshallah. Just march forward, make an intention, march forward, Allah will put you to work, inshallah. Allah will put you to use. So I sincerely ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put me and put all of you to use, especially in the month of Ramadan. Because being used by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the cause of this deen is the greatest honor that we can achieve in this deen. So are we all ready for this night? At least we try. At least we try. Then what can we give to... a sister asked a question, a very funny question on an email. She says, Imam, whenever I try to read Quran, I start feeling dizzy. Wallahi, I am late today because I fell asleep while preparing this lecture. I fell asleep and I woke up half time. Shaitan will always come to you. Whenever you want to read Quran, whenever you want to do ibadat, Shaitan will come. He hates it. He will put you to sleep and he will make you dizzy. He hates it. So what do? I put myself in pressure. I put myself in pressure situation. So I say to you, okay, next week I will share this. Have you ever noticed that in the Seerah class, I always finish my Seerah class by saying, okay, next week we will do this. And now next week I have to prepare this because I have already made a promise to all of you. So put yourself in that kind of situation. Whatever you know, share it with other people. Whatever you know, teach other people. Your family members. You don't even have to go out of your family. Sit down with your family and teach them Islam. Whatever you learn here, go back home and teach them. And in this way, Shaitan will stay away from you. And you will keep pushing yourself and you will become disciplined, inshallah. So are we all ready for this now? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us.
Ameen.